So let's learn about programming. This is an introduction to programming using the Swift language. So this will work for iPads, iPhones, and Apple Watches at the moment, and probably Apple TVs in the future, and so on. So what is programming? Some people consider programming to be an art. It's a way of doing things, and results sometimes can be very different, or it's up to your interpretation. And as you can see in the bottom left picture, this is a fractal, okay, which is basically using mathematical equations, and you end up with very nice artsy pictures. Now, what's also programming? It's a science in the sense that with programming, 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, okay? It's never going to be equal to anything else in the sense that it's very logical, okay? So, and that's what it's used for. We use it for all types of science, whether it's physics or making planes or engineering. It's as Cartesian or as black and white as possible. Okay, it's not like psychology or any philosophy. Okay, there's no arguing going on here. It's also a tool in the sense that, especially in engineering, you get things done, such as here, as you can see in the image to the right, these are wheels that may be used for a watch. Okay, and this can be also done through programming. Okay, in programming, you can actually create your own mechanics. It's obviously going to be abstract. It's going to be virtual. You're not going to see it, but you are actually creating your own tools to get things done. And it's also a way of thinking. Programming is a way of thinking in the sense that you have to look at different paths, different ways things can happen. And you'll have to do that in order to avoid mistakes. It's very precise. You have to be very logical. Why do we need programming? First of all, it's a way to automate things. There's many tasks that are redundant and they can be automated. Okay, for an example, getting mail every day. It could be an automated, and it is using Gmail apps, for example, or getting the mail. It actually comes to you now. You don't have to go and get it. Now, this is just one example. Another task would be, let's say in Excel, if you have a spreadsheet and calculate additions, you can just automate the additions automatically by providing a formula. Okay, and also it's a way to go beyond human brain limitations and processing power. As you know, we get fatigued as we do calculations or computations, and the computer or programming does not, it does not get exhausted. It can keep going on forever as long as we feed electricity. Okay, well, sometimes the operating system actually slows down, but just a reboot and things go back on track. Okay, traits of a good programmer. So first of all, you have to be very meticulous. You have to pay attention to details, especially if you're creating software for a car or for a spaceship. If you want to send a satellite to orbit, you have to be very meticulous in the sense that every line of code that you will write matters. You cannot just say, okay, it will do just fine. No, you have to make sure that you understand what you're writing. It's also a constant education process. You have to be proactive in learning, in the sense that this is one of the fields that goes really fast. What I personally have learned 5 years ago does not apply today. Obviously, there's some basics and fundamentals, just as what you're learning right now, that will not go away. It will always be there, but it's changing. As you can see, we're learning it using Swift. Now, I can assure you, in 5 years ago, there was no Swift language. People were not using Swift. So many programmers are not being proactive, and learning Swift will obviously not have the upper edge against the new developers fresh out of school that have learned Swift. Okay? It also needs to be a hobby and a passion. If you want to be a good programmer, you have to understand that this has to be part of your life. Now, I know it's not for everyone, and many people actually go in computer science and actually leave after the first year, because it's really not for everyone. It has to be, you have to breathe through this. Now, obviously, you can make it fun in order for it to become your hobby by, you could make video games. That's just one example. Experience is also what makes a good programmer. Obviously, just like anything else, the more experience you get, the faster you become at it, the more aware you are about what could happen or not happen. And obviously, intelligence is what makes a good programmer. Programming is using science to its as deep as possible. You can go as far as possible with programming when it comes to science. It touches all types of science nowadays. It's everywhere, whether it's in electronics, whether it's in even in medical. So you really need to have intelligence. Now, obviously, intelligence is also hard work. So remember that it's not just you're not just born smart. Some are, but you can get intelligence over time by working hard. So what's a programming language? So that's just a definition here. It's a formal constructed language designed to communicate instructions to a machine, particularly a computer. In this case, it might be the Apple Watch or the iPhone. So you communicate instructions. Now, these instructions are not, let's say, whenever you talk to, let's say, Siri through the iPhone and you say, open my calendar. Now, this is just human language, open my calendar. Now, the computer does not actually understand this instruction. This open my calendar instruction is actually getting divided into thousands of smaller chunks of instruction that will fake or simulate the calendar that's getting opened. But behind the scenes, there's thousands of zeros and ones, of instructions made of zeros and ones that are sent to the computer. Okay. Also, it's a programming languages can be used to create programs to control the behavior of a machine or to express algorithms. Now, let's take a look at what do we mean by programs. So, these are the types of programs or products that are made. So you have the iPhone, iPad, and the Apple Watch apps. The operating systems such as the Windows 8, Windows 7, and so on. The Mac OS X or Yosemite, Snow Leopard, and so on. Software. Microsoft Word, Excel, iMovies, GarageBand. These are all software. Utilities, especially in medical, it could be a heart rate monitor, for example. Servers, where all your data is getting stored online. Let's say for Facebook, there's like ranges of servers that use programming to make those servers. And vehicle systems, just like what you use for cars, such as an acceleration system to know when to automatically change the speed of the car or when to turn on the lights or not, in planes as well, and so on. So there's two different types of levels of programming. There's more than this, but it's basically a high level against low level programming. So high level programming, it's a way where you program with a language that's closer to our human languages, closer to English, French, or any other languages. Now, you also have the low level, which is machine friendly, which means it's instructions that the computer understands. A bunch of zeros and ones, for example, that's what computers use at the moment. It might not be the same case in the future, but as of right now, it's electricity. Zero meaning that there is no electricity, and one meaning that you have current or electricity going through the wire. That's what the machine understands. Now, the layer above the zeros and ones are assembly language. Then above that, you have probably the C language. And then you have, on top of that, you have Objective-C or Swift. And even higher level than that, you use Microsoft Excel or some tasks, some automation in Microsoft Word, or such as tasks and macros. You guys have probably heard about macros in Excel. These are considered to be very high level programming in the sense that it's very close to our language. Okay, and that's all you need to know for the introduction. And the next step is to look at the basic concepts. Thanks for watching.